1.
Hello, everybody. Welcome in. I hope everybody's having a good night. Hello, Sampy. Hey, Chris Everett, Miss Elizabella Kirkpatrick. Welcome in. I hope you're feeling better. I see Tim Donna. Hey, and there's James Kirkpatrick. Hello. Team Snag and Whiskers. Good evening. Welcome in. So glad you guys could join us. If you don't care, hit that like button on your way in. Sure would appreciate it. And you hadn't already subscribed, please do. We're still kind of waiting on two stands. I'm not sure exactly what's going on with two stands, so we'll give him a minute. And if he doesn't jump on, hello, Guerrero. How are ya? Welcome in. Hey, CBA, welcome in. It's not like Stan to be late like this, so we'll give him a chance to jump in here. He's supposed to do our presentation on casting, and if not, then I'll just take it over and I'll do it. So he is probably telling the surgeon story to somebody. You're probably exactly right. You're probably exactly right. We got 12 wonderful people in here. Welcome, everybody. I hope everybody's having a great day. I know it's been a good day online for a lot of live fishing. I've been watching Roger and been watching Skip and Greenwell all fish the Ohio, and I watched Chris's video earlier where he caught that 90+ pound blue cat. That was simply amazing. Oh my goodness, it was great. Hello, Indiana Chris. Welcome in. DMV Whisker King, welcome. There's Real Time Catfishing, Mr. John and Dana. How are you guys? I hope everybody's doing well. Yeah, man. If you haven't seen Hooks and Hammocks, if you haven't seen Chris catch that fish, you guys need to go watch that video. It was amazing. Amazing. And he was on the boat by himself. I don't know how he lifted that fish anyways, but he did. It was amazing. So what's everybody been doing today? There's Miss Michelle. Hello, welcome in. I'm so excited to come see you. And there's Paul Boyd of P&B Catfishing. Welcome in. We're up to 16 people. Thank you guys for joining me. If you haven't already, please hit that like button on your way in. We're still waiting on Stan. I haven't heard from him today. I messaged him a couple hours earlier. I'm kind of getting a little worried about him. Hey, 217 Rebel Outdoors. And I'm kind of getting a little concerned about him. I hope he's all right. I just messaged him again, so it's not like him not to return my messages. So I'm kind of getting a little worried about old Stan. I hope everything's okay. But yeah, if you guys haven't heard, I am getting on the road after the show, and I am headed to the dock. Going to see Tom and Miss Michelle. I can't wait. I'm going to get to cook with Michelle, and I'm going to get to fish with Tom and the one-tonners. I'm excited about getting to see all of them. That's going to be amazing. I'm excited to finally get my arms around them and say hey to them and give them a hug. Of course, I met Tom at CatCon, but I can't wait to get my arms around everybody else and give them a big old hug and you know, get to finally meet everybody. I love going to meet everybody. I know, Guerrero. I'm hoping we're going fishing at a couple of different places, so I'm real excited about that. Hopefully, we can get on a big fish. It'd be nice. It'd be nice to get on a big one. I'm excited about it. But like I said, Stan was supposed to do the presentation on casting, but if he doesn't do it, I have got my fishing rods here just in case, because when I didn't hear from him today, like I said, I kind of got concerned. So I wanted to definitely I am counting down too. As soon as the show's over, Tom. As soon as the show's over, I'm going and carrying my plants in while my dogs are using the bathroom, and I am on the road. I can't wait. My car's loaded and ready to go. I've been getting ready all day. I'll be sitting on the bed, and then I'm like, ooh, I forgot something, and I'll go stick it in my bag, and then I'll think of something else, and then I'll go stick it in the bag. So hopefully I remembered everything. I probably brought too much, but that's the way I always do. But at least I'm prepared, you know. At least I'm prepared. But tonight we're supposed to go over casting a spin caster and casting a spinning reel. And I went and bought myself a Zebco 33 because I wanted a spin caster to have on the bank. I've got several. I've got a couple of spinning rods that I always keep there in case somebody wants to come up and fish, or there's a kid there that wants to fish. But I figured if I had a little spin caster there, that it would be a little easier for me to teach them, and it'd just be fun to catch my bluegill on. So I love catching bluegill the whole time I am catfishing. Well, most of the time I'm sitting there bluegill fishing. So we've got crappie down there and little stripes. The other day when I went, I caught a little stripe, and then I caught about 4 bluegill, and there was 2 other catfishermen on the dock, and I ended up catching bait for them because they couldn't catch bait. Neither one of them could catch any, and I happened to be on them, but I know where they stack right there on the dock. So, but that's my dock. But yeah, I know where they're at right there. So I was sitting there catching bait, and they were taking them as quick as I could pull them in. But hey, Avid, welcome in. So glad to have you. It's great to see you tonight. But yeah, so I went and got this, and I'm tickled about it. I have had a spin caster on the rod and reel that Jeremy won for his son. And he did say that they got it, and that his son's just been out in the yard just casting it. Hey, half century catfishing, welcome in. And really enjoying it. So, and even Jeremy said that he really liked the rod, that it's a really good rod. So I'm tickled about that. I'm tickled that his son is enjoying it, and going to get some good use out of it. I wanted to make sure that it, I didn't want to get, I mean, not to say that the frozen ones and all the different ones are not good rods, but I wanted to get one that was a little better quality that might actually, last a little while. So hopefully his son really enjoys it. I'm really hoping so. There's Angler of the Bill. Welcome in. So glad you guys could join us. So glad you guys could join us. I hope you guys, I know a few more people have come in. If you guys haven't seen Hooks and Hammocks video, Chris got on a hog today. So you might want to go and check that video out. It was a great video. It was a really great video. So I was really happy for him. So you guys might want to go check that one out. That's a good one. But I had a little Zebco Hot Cast that I used all the time. It's a little 4'7" rod, and I use that all the time on the dock because the way that I sit, it's the perfect length to fish off of the edge of the dock, because my dock has a wall, or a side to it. It's not, just the bottom. And so it's just the perfect length. If I have my 6-foot rod, then I have to sit too far back. So, hello, Fluff and Stuff. Welcome in. So great to see you. So glad you're joining us from across the way. Great to see you. Um, and so, but it was for a spinning reel. And my spinning reel broke on me the other day whenever I was fishing for bluegill. I caught that little stripe and I knew something was wrong. And, oh, you're welcome, Paul. And I couldn't figure out what was wrong. And I thought that it was just the handle that the screw that kept my handle in. It was kind of half broke, and it still worked. But I thought that was what it was, so I changed it out with one of my other spinning reels, and that didn't fix it. And realized that my bearings were gone. It completely busted. So, but I caught a lot of fish on that little reel, and it was just a little old cheap $10 reel. So it worked great for me for a couple years actually. So I figure I got my money's worth out of it. And there's Miss Tanya Hollis. Welcome in. Got 17 fantastic people in here. If you guys haven't hit that thumbs up, please do. I would so appreciate it. But so it's looking like Stan is not going to be here tonight. So I guess I'm just going to be winging it. I'm not sure. Maybe he'll jump in here a little bit later. I don't know. Has anybody heard from Stan today? I'm kind of concerned about him because it's not like him to miss a show. Not at all. And it's also not like him not to message me. So I was just wondering if anybody's had a chance to talk to him, or has anybody seen him around today? Has he been in any chats? I haven't seen him. But, you know, I hope everything's okay. There's Tina Ladybug. Hello. Welcome in. So we'll just jump in here on the spincaster, and maybe Stan will jump in. But I got a Zebco 33. It doesn't matter if this is a little ugly stick spincaster. And there's downtown Ernie Brown. Welcome in, sir. I got your increasy sticker. Thank you, Sing Nothing. Or thank you so much. Yeah, I haven't either half century. But I got my sticker. Your guys' sticker's awesome. So thank you guys for sending it to me. Hey, Lance, Maku guy, the Hawaiian fisherman. Okay, yeah, I did too. I don't know. Let me know if you hear from him. Okay. Thank you, Whiskers. I appreciate that. Welcome in, Fishing for Whiskers. I appreciate you guys. We're up to 20 people. I appreciate you guys joining me tonight. Tim, Donna, love it. But anyways, so just like on these little spin casters, just like we use for catfishing, there is a drag. And on this particular one, there is also what they call a bite alarm, which is just a clicker. And I thought it was really cool that these had a clicker. So I think that's really neat. And so, I think that's great for kids if you've got them sitting there and, oh, okay, Stan's coming. Okay, there's Lyle. I just got a message from him. He's on his way. So we'll give him a minute, and he is supposed to do this. So let's let him jump in and see if he's prepared. If not, I'll go ahead and do the spin caster, and he can do the spinning. But we'll wait and see. He said he was having phone issues. So how you doing today, Mr. Lyle? I'm so glad you come in. I love it. I love that we've got all that fluff and stuff in here. I love having people from around the world. I think that's the coolest thing about YouTube is that we can have friends from all over. And it's amazing to be able to meet different people and learn about different things. I mean, she fishes the Great Barrier Reef. Can you imagine fishing the Great Barrier Reef? Oh my goodness. That's like a dream. Okay, perfect, Chris. Thank you. Yeah, he just messaged me and said he was on his way. So he'll be in here in just a minute. So he'll probably be a little flustered, but that's okay. And we love you right back. We love you right back, Fluff and Stuff. But that's okay. I know it's frustrating whenever we've got phone issues or technical issues. Let's see. I can't wait. Won't be long. There'll be a party in the parking lot next month with some cat fam. That's right. That's right. Are you coming to the gathering, Ernie? Here in Tennessee? I think I heard you were. I hope so. I'm going down on the 13th, so I'll be there a day early and I'll stay till the 15th. Oh, not that one. Where are you going? Which one you going to? In Mendota. Oh, yeah, that's going to be a good one. That's going to be a good one. Well, I hope you can make it because it'll be really fun. It'll be really fun. But anyways, we'll go ahead and give Stan a minute. But I'm going to go ahead and go over the drag. One thing on these spin is that they're very crystal clear. So there is a plus side and a minus side. And so, it's very easy to figure out which way you're going. I know, yeah, they do fishing for whiskers. Yes, they do. Hey, Alvin Lewis, welcome in. And so it's really easy to figure out which way you're going. And just like we use, our drag to fight these big fish. I think that if we teach new anglers, no matter what their age, no matter if they're kids, no matter if they're adults, the proper ways to do things from the beginning, then it's going to set them up for a lifetime of good angling, of being able to use any equipment, to be able to use any, to fish in any situation for any type of fish. And that's what I really want. I want people that, really want to just catch panfish to be able to catch panfish. And I want people who like to catch crappie to be able to catch crappie. And I want the people who really want to progress with us all the way up through catfish and learning baitcasters and getting into all the fun things that we do as cat fishermen. I want them to do that. I want them to learn whatever they want to learn along the way. So, but it's important to set your drag. And what you want is you can always grab your line and pull. And if you can pull and there's some resistance there, that's what you want. You don't want it. If you take it off, then your line's just going to pull out real easy and there's going to be no resistance whatsoever. And what's going to happen is when you get a fish on the line, the fish is just going to swim whichever way it wants to, and you're not going to be able to control it. So to be able to control the fish, what you want to do is you want to set your drag. With this one, you can click one at a time, and then you can grab it and test it. If it's not quite right, click it again and just go all the way through until you get it to the right. Once you click it and you can't pull it out anymore, back it off. And then when you can pull it out, you're good. So that is the whole lesson on the drag. There's not much to it. You just got to play around with it. Don't be afraid to play around with it. And you will be so golden. And the button here, that releases the line from the fishing reel. So whenever you go to cast, which Stan is going to show us, what you will do is you will hold your fishing reel with your thumb on the button. Let's see. There we go. With your thumb on the button, you'll click it, hold it back, and then release it when you start your forward motion. And what we want to teach them is we want to teach them up and out, up and out. A lot of the times, I know, especially with my Baitcaster, I'll cast it, and I cast it very differently than I cast my regular bass fishing rods and my other rods. So, you know, my other rods, I get my snap on it, and I let it go at the right place. But my Baitcasters are heavy, and you know, I've got big baits hanging from them and big lead hanging from them, depending upon where I'm fishing at. So I'm putting it over my shoulder and I'm slinging it different. And the control is very, very, very different. And the reels are so much more heavy. So, you know, we want to definitely get people in to the right motion of putting it to your, you know, level with your ear and casting it. And you can't do it wrong. You're just going to have to play around with it, encourage, you know, to continue to practice. They have these little, I was going to try to get some to give away, and I just I couldn't do a giveaway this week. Money was tight and I just couldn't do it. I've been out of work for several weeks, and so I couldn't swing it. But I was going to get some practice plugs. And basically what those are, they look like weights, but they're rubber, and you can tie them on the end, and it gives you some weight, and you can get out in the backyard or in the front yard with your kids, and you can let them practice. And it's a really good tool to use. It's good for adults. It's good for kids. It's good for everybody. They have a bunch of different ones, a bunch of different kinds, and they are really, 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 really good. I used to use them whenever I would cast into buckets. I used to use them to, I would put buckets in at different lengths in the yard, and I would practice my my accuracy and my casting once I learned how to cast. That's another fun game you can play with your kids. You can set it up like a game, and you know, have them to cast in the first bucket, and once they get good in the first bucket, have them to skip that one and go to the next bucket. And I'm telling you, they will learn very, very quickly. Stan is going to actually be out in his driveway, actually showing us how to cast. So that is going to be much better than what I can do in here. I wasn't really set up for doing that in the house, and so that's why he was going to take over tonight. But you know, like I said, technology is a tough one sometimes. So hopefully he'll be able to jump on here in a minute. But I hope everybody's doing good. Is anybody going fishing with any kids this coming up week? Has anybody got any kids to go fishing with? Lance, I know that you've been teaching, well, he's a kid, but he's not a little kid. Are you still teaching him to fish? I know you were saying you were working with him about respect and teaching him other life lessons besides just teaching him about fishing, and that's another good thing. All right, Team Snag and Whiskers. I would love to see that. I hope you go live. And if not, maybe take a little video and let us show it on the show. I would love that. Upside down frisbee in the yard. Yeah, that's a good idea too, Tom. Instead of a bucket, an upside down frisbee. That's actually maybe a little better and probably a little easier to hit for a kid. So that's a really good idea. All that fluffing stuff's fishing with her husband, and he's a big kid. So yeah, I would love that, snagging. That would be amazing. Ah, here we go.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Mr. Stan. How are you?
Whew, I'm tired. I'm tired. I've been running all day.
I'm sure you have. I'm just glad you're okay. I was about
Oh,
to get worried about you.
yeah, no, we Stan 3 and I went out in his boat earlier today, and we're getting ready for the big bait shop versus no script on Saturday, and uh we were coming back and I was having some phone issues and stuff. We weren't live. We weren't, we were just out there catching some bait, having a little fun. So
Hmm.
didn't have any extra stuff for the phone or anything. Well, I had phone issues. We got back to the ramp a little later than we thought, and then with the new boat, new trailer, and things like that. Well, new to us anyhow. So there was
Hmm.
just some issues with that, and it took a lot longer. So I didn't have any way to get in touch with anybody till I got home, till I got to the charger and stuff for the phone, and so it's a whole, as always.
That's what I told everybody. I said, when Stan gets here, I said, he's going to be flustered because he's been having technology issues and that is frustrating. So I get it.
And all of a sudden I look and I'm putting the phone on and there's everybody from Lance McCool guy to Fishing for Whiskers with messages and LG Bass and everything okay? You all right? How you doing?
We were getting worried about you. I'm like, it's not like Stan. It's not like Stan not to message me back, and it's certainly not like Stan to not show up. So either somebody sick or I'm worried. I'm kind of getting a little worried. So I was
Now,
like, is anybody? Because I knew I hadn't seen you in the chat today, and
that
I'm
was
like,
so
yeah.
did we how did we do? Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you, Fishing Whiskers. There's Team Snagging Whiskers. Good to see you. Good to see you. Tanya Hollis, how are you? There's Lance, Chris, Gerardo Bagley. How are you, my friend? So, Fluff and Snuff, LG Bass, Alvin Lewis, woo, Downtown Ernie Brown, CVA, all kinds of awesome people. There's Avid out there.
Half Century says you can't hide from the catfish family.
Amen to that. Amen to that. But if you, how have we been doing with, how's the show been going so far? Did we go over casting or did I cause
No, we haven't gone over casting, but I did go over. I did go over the spincaster, but just about the drag and about the button, about when to push it, and about going back. But we haven't went over the actual casting part. So
all right.
no, we need you for that if you're willing and able.
Of course, of course, of course. Basically, no matter with casting, no matter whether you've got a spinning reel like this, a spin cast reel like what Kaz has, or even a bait cast reel, pretty much they're all controlled by your hand. You want to have your line. Your line is you keep your line tight, however you do it. So uh, you want to have whatever you're trying to cast. You want to have it at a fixed spot. And so basically, you bring that back, and whichever way, whatever you're trying to cast, you want to have that line held. So with the spin caster, you're holding that button down, and that's what's going to hold your whatever you're casting. That's what's going to hold that in place. If you've got the bait casting reel, you've got that you've got it released, and you've got your thumb on the line. That's what's holding that in place. And if you've got a spinning reel like this, you're holding that with your hand, and that's even though the line is there, it's able to come out. It's not going anywhere because I'm holding that in place. And then it's just a matter of muscle memory after that. If you practice enough, it's just going to happen. But you want to hold it back, and when you come forward to cast, when it gets to about 10 o'clock, about there is when you let it go. So it's pretty much just a easy motion and let it go. And holy smokes, I just cast all the way across my neighbor's yard. So
And Tanya Hollis, no, it is not canceled. The No Script and Bait Shop is on and popping. And
without doubt.
yeah, and when is that, Stan? Go ahead and tell them when that is real quick.
Well, that is Saturday afternoon. It's going to be on um,
Half
Has
life.
Live's channel, and it is from 6 to 11, 6 p.m. Eastern to 11 o'clock Eastern. It is on and popping, like you said. It's going to be lit. It's going to be on fire. We've got a bait shop been doing a lot of talking, and we about to foreclose on them.
And I am hashtag no script all day long.
And
I've always been hashtag no script, so I gotta stick with it. Gotta back up my stand.
And as a matter of fact, we got bait shops so scared, they're closed tonight. They are closed. There isn't even a bait shop on tonight. So be looking for somebody else to pop up live. I'm just saying, there could be some other crew that's popping up live. You don't know. You never know what happens. But yeah, bait shop is so scared they're closed. So, but back to the casting. That's pretty much it. So you got your.
So when you're casting, Stan, whenever you're casting, because you've got a spinning reel. How do you hold that? Do you put two fingers on one side of it and two on the other, or do you hold it up above like that, or how do you hold it?
Well, when I'm going to cast, I usually just hold it up. I hold the line down like that with my one with the finger, maybe fingers, but you just hold the line down, and you can see there's the bait.
Wait just a minute. Let me give you full screen. Let's see. Give me just a second.
Kitten, stop. My bail is
I'm
open.
on my phone, and let's see. Let me. Well, that wasn't it. Let's see.
You should be able to just click on mine and hit solo layout.
Oh, okay.
Whether you're on the phone or the computer.
There we go. Wait a minute. Got it. Perfect.
Okay. There we go. Okay. So pretty much I hold that. You can see the bait that I'm casting, I think, right?
See it good.
There's the reel. I got my finger on the line right there. And it's pretty much just go back like this. When I go forward, I let go with that finger. Again, I just cast all the way across my neighbor's yard.
Oh, they won't care.
If you had the spin cast reel, let me see. I might have one right here.
Hey, Grace Family Fishing, welcome in. Got 29 amazing people in chat. Thank you, guys. Please hit that like button for me. Tina Ladybug.
Spin cast reel with the button, same thing, kind of like what you got. When you go back with it, you press it down, you press the thumb, press it down like that, and that's what's going to hold your bait in place. And then as you go forward, when you go forward with it, when it gets to about there, about 10 o'clock, that's when you let it go. So you're holding the button down, you bring it back. When you go forward, right about there is where you let it go, and it shoots the bait out. So it is basically hold the button down, bring it back. When you go forward, you let them go. And it's the same motion regardless of what type of reel you're using.
Perfect. Yeah, and LG was saying, I was telling them that they have the practice lures, and that you can practice. You've got a bucket. Either he said that you could practice hitting a frisbee or a bucket or anything like that to to dial in your casting.
Yeah. Let's see. I haven't done this in a while. Oh, just over it. Just over it.
You almost got it.
See, you heard it hit the bucket?
Yep.
But that's it's all muscle memory. Like once you get doing it, once you're casting enough, you don't even think about letting your line go. It just you've done it so many times, like you automatically know. It just does it on its own.
Right.
Oh, hit the side of the bucket.
Yep.
But you talk about kids having fun. I could do this for hours out here. No kidding.
John says he needs to try that spot.
Come here, kid. Yeah. This must be good for catfish because I almost got my cat.
Uh-oh. Don't want to hook the cat. Third time's a charm, Stan. You got it.
I'm gonna try to pitch it this time. Close. I'm coming within. Like if you do the and for kids, what's even better is you start with bigger things like maybe a hula hoop, or just take a piece of rope and make bigger circles. And as they get better, then you make it target smaller and smaller. But that's basically it. You just I got the finger line is on the finger, so the bait's sitting there. My bail is open and it's not going anywhere. I bring it back. A little too far, a little too hard, but.
And I see one thing that you're doing that's really important, and that's whenever you're casting, you are holding each side of your reel there, and then you're stabilizing the back of your rod with your other hand, and that keeps control of the rod when you're casting it, and that's real important. And
you should, if you've got a target where you want it to go, like you started out back here, you want to kind of have the butt of the rod pointing at the target.
Mm-hmm.
This is the butt. The bottom of the rod is the butt, just like on us, our back side. The bottom side is the butt.
The booty.
You kind of point that at your target. It gets you going in a general direction. So when you basically flip it over, if you're pointing at the target, when you flip it, it's automatically going right at the target. So then when you're done going forward, the tip of your rod should be pointing at your target.
Gotcha.
So there's it's kind of hard to do it like this, but you can pretty much see that I'm pointing pretty much directly at the bucket, and I just did a general. So you're basically, when you're done, when you're letting it go, you should be pointing at wherever target you want to hit.
Yep, so we're not twisting it. We're just going from back to front with no twist.
So back, it's kind of pointing at the target.
Yep.
And I don't know if y'all can see it. Can you see? Yeah, right up here. Like I put the bucket next to that tree because if you got it for kids, make sure you don't do that. I did that to kind of try to make it a little bit more difficult. Because if I go to the left at all, I'm going to end up in that tree. And get it casting, like fish don't like being out in the wide open. They like structure, they like cover. So you're going to have to learn to cast towards areas like that eventually.
And so as they get closer to hitting the bucket or the hula hoop or whatever, then you can start moving it a little closer to structure, and that will help them learn how to cast a little lower and get it underneath there. And start learning how to skip.
Did you hear that? It hit the bucket.
Yep.
But yeah, and then
That's amazing.
there's so many ways to do it, even with like the spin caster that you got. I mean, that's your basic overhand cast. Some people you can do a sidearm, which is basically the same thing, except it's coming from the side. You just got to
Mm-hmm.
be careful with that one. If you're fishing around other people, you're swinging a hook around a big area. So if there's
Yep.
other people around, you got to be careful with that one. But there it is.
I think another thing. I think another thing that we got to be real careful about too is to make sure, especially with kids and new anglers, that they have no more than a foot of line and their bait hanging from the end of their rod. Because if not, they're going to end up hooking themselves in the back.
But that's basically it.
That was fantastic. Thank you so much. That was great.
Whatever the direction, your shoulder, your line would head. Yeah.
Direction of my grandfather used to tell me whatever the direction of the shoulder of your casting arm was the direction your line would head. Yeah, it is kind of hard to describe. It is, and that's why Stan volunteered to go out in his driveway and kind of show it for us, because it's tough to, you can talk about it all day long, but until you actually see it, then it a lot of the times it doesn't make sense.
And I recommend, if you're gonna, you don't have to bring the kids out. You saw how much fun I was having. I'd still be sitting here.
Uh-huh.
Tim Donna,
how about closing the bell on the different reels?
that's a good question. So like on these, some reels, a lot of times I just got in the habit of where I just flip it over myself. So making sure my cat's not around. So I got it open. I did my cast, and I just kind of pop it. Some reels, once you go to a lot of spinning reels, especially the newer ones, that once you go to turn the handle, it automatically clicks it over. I don't know if it's a myth or, one of just those old school things, but used to say that if you did that, like it would eventually, there's the gear, the trigger mechanism that closes that bail when you reel. If you do it like that, eventually it could wear out. I don't know how true that is. But
I've always heard the same thing, and I always close mine because I found that when I close it, and it may be from using a Baitcaster now, but I've always noticed that I will kind of slow my line down with my finger, even on a spinning reel, and I will use my bell to close it to control the distance that my line is going.
And Chris out there, Indiana Chris, brought up a good point with the that you can stop on the spincaster. You can stop the line by pressing the button back down, holding the button back down. That'll kind of stop it. Just be careful with that. It takes a little time to get used to doing that. And if it's still soaring out there and you do it, it'll yank it. But that is a way to kind of control the line a little bit when you got the spincaster with the button like that.
Absolutely. But those are great questions. Anybody else have any questions? Yeah, and Lance McCoo said I always close the bell by hand and not by reeling. So yeah, we definitely need to teach new anglers or kids to close that bell.
Oh yeah, I got it came loose.
It does wear out the gear, yeah. Absolutely agree, Lance. And we want to take care of our fishing gear, because there's nothing worse, just like I was talking before you came on, Stan. I went fishing the other day, and first fish I got on was a little striper, and all of a sudden I would reel the fish up, and then the fish would disappear back in the water, and I'm like, what in the world is happening? What is going on? Yeah, and it does cause line twists.
Oh, man, so close.
the gears in mine wore out, and it wasn't the bell, it wasn't the mechanism, because I always close it. But there's nothing worse than your equipment failing when you've got a fish on.
And it causes line twist. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good question. Oh, so that's those on the spincaster, the reel that let me close my comments there. The reel that Kaz has right there, that you just reel, because there is no other way to do it.
Right.
You put the button in, you cast out, and then you just start reeling. With the spincaster, there's no bail. All there is a little pin that comes out from the if you take the cover off, there's a little pin that comes out. So when you press that button in, it pushes the pin out. And then when you let it go, it comes back in. And when you push the button in, it pushes the pin out, and that's what holds the line in place. Then when you let it go, there's a spring on it. It comes back in, and the round disc that it's connected to pops up, and that's why it lets it go out. So then when you start to reel again, it clicks that. It puts it puts that little metal thing down, and the little pin is just sticking out, and it rotates like that, and that little pin catches the line, and that's what reels the line in. It's just a little pin. So that's kind of the bail on those. And on as you get more advanced,
and I learned whenever I had Jeremy's rod and reel, I was getting ready to pack it up, and all of a sudden it wouldn't engage anymore. And a lot of the times whenever those little spin casters, they stop working and you think it's not working, if you take the top off, a lot of the times that pin will get engaged and it won't pop back out. And so all you've got to do is pop that pin back out and it starts working again.
And how do you like that? How do you like that, LG? That is the Abu Garcia that I won during the 7-7 from the bank, where I caught 35 catfish.
Nice.
That is the one I wanted to win. That was the prize that LG had put up. So that's the Abu Garcia. With your baitcasters like this, they have their bail or their button. Some of them have a trigger button here. Other ones will have a trigger button here. And some of them have a switch that you flip up and down. So basically you press that in, and now this spool, it's in free spool. I don't know if you could see it falling, but it just will turn. So to cast these, you press that in. Now these can be a little more, it takes a little more to learn how to use these, because what will happen is if you don't control it as it's going out and you don't have it set right, the reel starts spinning faster than the line going out, and what it does is it creates a bird's nest in there. Poof! The line will all just tangle up, and you'll have this big bird's nest of line sticking out of your thing. So these are fun to learn. I love fishing for catfish. I love these for bass fishing and some things like that. These are great because of the different techniques, pitching and flipping and things like that. A bass, a smaller bait caster, those are perfect for doing that kind of stuff. But it's the same thing. So I don't have any weight on here, so I'm not going to cast it. But you press that in, you hold your thumb on it on the spool so the line doesn't go out. But it's the same thing. You bring it back, and always, 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 always. I don't care how many years you've been doing it. You always look behind you, because guess what? The one time you don't, that's when somebody walks behind you. That's when you're on live and you're trying to show this amazing cast that you do, and you're so focused on where you're trying to cast to that you don't look behind you, and you end up yanking a chair that you catch or something like that. Not pointing out any names, LG. But
something on the boat, something anywhere. I mean, you can catch anything, using huge hooks and huge pieces of bait.
But it's the same thing. You press in, whether it's a whether it's a switch that you flip down, whether it's a thumb button back here, just like on the what Kaz has, or the push button that I have in here, whatever. You click it in, your spool is going to go, but it's the same thing. You look behind you, you look back at your target. When you go forward, you let it go. And I just did light line, a light little cast. I got hardly any weight on there, which a lot of times was what will bird's nest this, and I was still able to control it because I kept my thumb tension, a little bit of tension on it with my thumb, so that the spool didn't go faster than the line going out. So that's what these get a little bit more difficult, but they're a lot of fun once you get going.
Gray's Family Fishing said when he was 2, apparently his dad and uncle walked in, and his uncle had a hook hanging out of his temple. He says he still calls him fish head to this day. Yeah, I know. I got a phone call. Oh, wait just a minute. This is Miss Tanya Hollis. She says, what is a helpful tip to help you cast, Father? I'm having that issue. With what kind of reel? With what kind of reel are you talking about? Are you talking about a spinning reel or a baitcaster? I remember I got a phone call from my uncle, and he said, "Now I don't want you to worry." I thought, "Oh goodness," because he had my son, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, here we go." And Julian had a hook in him, and had to take him to the emergency room and get the hook cut out and all of that stuff. So, and it happens, it happens to everybody. Tanya Hollis wants to know both. What helps you cast, Father, with a spinning reel and a baitcaster?
Well, practice number one. A lot of times if people aren't getting the right distance, it's one of two things. You're either letting it go too soon and it goes way up about 100 feet up in the air, and since it's going up, it's going to lose a lot of momentum. It's going to go too high and it comes down short, or you're letting it go too late and it's going too low. So you want to do it right at about, 45 degrees, about 10 o'clock on a clock is where you want it to go, and it's going to go, it'll be at an outward and slightly upward angle, and that's how you get regardless of what one you're doing. So basically, it's when you bring it forward, you want it to let it go like right there. If you're letting it go like back here, it's going to be way up in the air, and it's not going to go as far. Another,
he looks at casting like batting a baseball. Power comes from the hips.
That could be too, but if you get the right, it's timing. Time with any sport, it's always timing, and everything from bowling to golf to tennis to baseball, it's always timing. And another thing with to get really long casts, if you have a longer pole, if you put your hand down here and you do like it's a lever, so you get a lot more. You can get a lot more leverage on it.
And especially on the bigger, heavier poles, that is so important to make sure that you use that hand down on the bottom of the pole to use that as that lever, because and Tanya, we've all done that, and I still do it. We let them go too soon, or we let them go too late, and it's just practice and practice and practice and practice. And Terry G says more weight on the line, and that does help sometimes. Helps it get out there.
Another thing is, depending on what you're using, boom, 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 boom. Like this rig here. If you have, like a lot of us use in catfishing, let me see here. The hook is way down here, and then you've got a couple of foot leader. If you're having issues with casting, sometimes just shortening the length of your leader will help, because if you've got, this is our typical that a lot of people use, typical Carolina or Santee rig. You got your sinker, your heaviest part is up here, and then you've got your bait and other floats way down here. So now you've got all this kind of behind you on the thing. So if you don't have the exact right motion, it kind of just goes all wobbly, and again, that won't cast as far. So sometimes if you shorten the distance between here and here, that'll help you cast further. Also, another rig that's really good for casting, a catfish rig that's good for casting, is where your sinker is down here at the bottom. So you got your sinker way down here. You got a dropper loop that comes off, and then another one up here, a basic high-low, double Kentucky rig. Fields to Water, Chad has a great video on that. But that's another, have your sinker, your heaviest thing at the very bottom, and that rig will cast forever. That's another couple of things to help with catfishing rigs anyhow.
Down East Tackle jumped in, and Small Town with Steve and Deb jumped in. Hey guys, welcome. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, all of those are fantastic, fantastic suggestions. And I mean, the only thing that you can do, Tanya, and I'll be honest, I mean, I cast a Baitcaster every single time I go catfishing, and I'm still intimidated by it. And everybody that I go fishing with, I have them show me how they cast, and I learn a little bit from everybody that I fish with. And I just continue to practice and continue to practice. And I bird's nest, and I get angry with myself. And then I have to just take a deep breath and let it go, because it's not going to do me any good to get frustrated. And I just have to keep going.
Another thing is to also get, make sure you got good footing, get yourself comfortable, because if you're trying to cast off balance, a lot of times that's when you'll cast the wrong direction, or you'll let something slip because you're worrying about something else. So make sure you got good even footing and you feel pretty comfortable and balanced, and that'll help you get a longer, better cast also.
And Tim Donna's a good point. Weight to line test ratio can cause distance problems. Absolutely. If you've got too little weight on too heavy a line, then yes, absolutely, it will not cast. You will not go far.
Yeah, and that happens here with, catfishing. Your fish, especially if you're fishing in heavy current situations where you've got you're fishing in low current situations, so you've got a light weight on there, like a 1 ounce or a 2 ounce, and you got 40-pound test or 50-pound test main line. Well, that's going to cause issues also as far as how far you cast.
Yep, absolutely. And to set your spool mags higher if you're bird nesting. Yeah, I mean, adjust your brakes. There's a lot of different things that you can do. Just keep adjusting your reel and keep asking questions. Yeah, it's meant to be fun. And that's exactly right, Fluffing Stuff. I get to fishing and I start taking it seriously, and I really want to get out to the channel, or I'm really trying to, get my fishing reel somewhere that, or get my fishing bait somewhere specific, and I start taking it a little too serious and get a little too frustrated with myself. And that never does any good, because the more frustrated I get, the worse I cast. So, hey, Kelly Bullock, welcome in. So glad you joined us. Small Town says in his case, a tree causes him to bird's nest. Hey, anything you can catch that hook on will cause you to. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. Well, Stan, you got anything to add? We've gone about an hour, buddy.
No, I've got, of course, all kinds of things going on.
Yep. And I'm getting ready to hit the road and head to the dock.
I hope tonight's show helped. We'll go over it again in another in a later episode, and if anybody has questions. Make sure
Yeah,
you bring them in.
absolutely. And whenever we get on into it, and we're really talking more about catfishing and more about the bait casting reels and all of that, we'll really get into it more. And hopefully by then I will be much better at it myself and have a lot more experience at it. Me being a little woman, it's hard. It's hard. Well, Tanya, just stick your hula hoop out in the yard and do exactly what we're talking about. That actually really helped me. And you're welcome, Team Snag and Whiskers, anytime. You know, just because I said it was for a kid, you seen how much fun Stan was having to hit the bucket. I mean, go out there and
for hours. I'll do it for hours.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, you guys, I know there's a bunch of people fishing. I know that Bex is fishing. There's not a bait shop tonight. They are MIA. So team no street tonight.
You never know what could happen.
I think Stan may be making a surprise appearance on a couple of shows tonight. So you guys definitely look out for his notifications. Don't miss that. Thank you guys so much for coming in and hanging with us. I'm getting ready to get on the road and head on down. But we will be back next week. I'm not exactly sure if we're going to have a guest next week or if we're going to be going over bluegill and panfish. So if so, we're going to do a trivia night. We're going to go over all the different species of panfish and have fun with that. And if not, if we don't have a guest, we're possibly going to have a guest. So we'll see how that goes.
Either way, that's going to be a great night because we were out today. We probably caught about 100 white perch today. We were having a blast.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. It's all fun. Fishing is fun. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're fishing for. But thank you guys for joining me and Stan. We really appreciate you coming and spending time with us. Thank you, Stan, I know you were in a rush. Thank you for jumping in and helping. I really appreciate it.
I apologize for being late. I was like, oh my goodness. I'm never without a charger and stuff, and the phone issues just horrible.
It happens to the best of us.
Sorry to make everybody be concerned out there, but thank you for all that love and concern. I really appreciate it. It really does mean a lot to me. Thank you.
We do love you, Stan. We do.
Well, much to everybody out there too. Thank you, cuz the feeling is mutual. I'm seeing if I can get down there. I don't know how it's going to work, but I will do what I can.
All right. Well, I can always get in the car, come get you. We do have much. All right. Well, we'll talk to everybody soon. We'll see you next week, Thursday night, 7:00.
Deuces.